Hello everybody, today I'm very enthusiastic to propose to you this key 78 entitled Matrix, Different Reality or Different Realities. Well, today we're gonna focus on, this is the chapter 11, but we're gonna more focus about my personal sharings in the sense to try to see what's the fiction and what's the reality. So I'm gonna try to share with you some subjective realities that I have in my life and to try to see and maybe to make it more contagious in the sense to reactivate the potential of the great book of life. Well, some personal testimonies for which is it real or it is fiction, hallucination, it is up to you to decide or to think about it. When I was young, I remember my first memory and I share with my parents and the context and so on. I was born in January 80, and it was 14 of July 81. So I was 1 year and a half. It was for National Day. Okay, so there were firecrackers. Okay, and I was in my father's arms, and I was crying like crazy because I thought it was the end of the world. It was the apocalypse for the simple reason there were explosion, booming and so on with a lot of firecrackers, and also there was a reflection with the lake. So for me it was the end of the world. Was it real or not? Of course it was my illusion, my hallucination, my fiction, but for me it was real. On the other way around, I remember that I could not talk, and I was hearing my parents laughing with their friends, so I was saying to myself, maybe it's not the good time. Anyway, the good time, since I'm conscious, aware, 2 or 3 years old, I had the feeling that I was coming, not only me, but this generation, for the end of a cycle, for a new paradigm, for which I will play as an actor an important role, of course with modest scale, but already at this age. Then I told you already, but I remember I had a flash when I was in my nurse, when I was 2 or 3 years old. It was during the afternoon, a movie. Basically, it was a house for which people was inside and suffocating, and it was very oppressing movie. Why? Because they could not go out of they could not exit from the house. It was all the doors were let's say locked, and there was like lava, green lava, falling down from the chimney, the fireplace, and actually it was like lava growing and growing. So, and then the scene was finished, so it was oppressing, of course, and then the scene was on another perception, with kids playing with a doll house. And they were playing, and the mother was coming and saying, okay, let's go for hitting. And they were playing with the doll house, and they put a chewing gum in the chimney, okay, in the fireplace. So the mother said, oh, it's disgusting and so on. So I realized at this moment that the impact, like a voodoo, voodoo doll you do on the puppet, and then there is an action, or let's say an impact on the reality on certain people. So I said to myself, it's the same thing with reality. I was 2 or 3 years old. It's the same thing with reality. It means that I need to be like a buffoon for the giants. They will play with me, and I will make them will do entertainment like this. They will not kill me. So then, though, was this reality or not? Of course, when we think like this, it's funny. But when we consider that we could be avatars of certain egregores, south forms of entities like possession and so on, it's not that stupid. Okay, what's reality? Up to you to decide. I lost my best friend when I was in 95, for which I had a lot of synchronicity. For example, I was asking some messages and so on, and at this moment you switch on randomly the radio, and you have Michael Jackson, you are not alone, and so on. But I was asking really tangible proof. of is still existent hereafter and so on. And 1 year after, the day, it was the 10th of July at 1 a.m. 11. Okay. And by the way, when there was the crash, because he died he passed away in the dramatic bus accident in France, more than 20 people died. And when it's happened, the day and the hour it's happened, I was with my other best friend in the country house. We were alone, and the light was switching on, switching off, switching on, switching off, without any human interruption. We were sleeping, and it was during the whole night like this. Strange. Maybe a coincidence, okay. But 1 year later, exactly day for day, the 1 a.m. 11, okay, I was with this friend, by the way, and he didn't know, because they didn't know each other, both, very small, little. And I didn't say anything, but during 1 year I was asking to the universe, God, and so on, to have real proof. And then suddenly we was on a merry-go-round, just to sit down, no alcohol, no drugs, and so on, of course. And there was a path like this and a path like this, and like maybe 30, even less, 20 meters, a shape arrived, like a silhouette shape arrived in our field of vision, like this. And then, instead of coming like this, get backwards, okay, like no sense. But it was a luminous, it was not like human shape, but only light, like really light. Arrived like this, the scene lasts like 30 seconds. And it was like in a movie. My friends say, what is that? What is that? And like really scared. And I was feeling so harmonious, so peaceful. And I say, don't worry, calm down, like this. And it's okay, or something like this, just to reassure him. And then I had my proof. So, was it an hallucination? Maybe it was someone and there was a light beside and so on. Okay, we could consider that, because I wanted that it's happened at this time. Maybe it's an hallucination, but in that case, what about my friend? My friend is not spiritual at all. Even now, so it was almost 30 years ago, still now, every time we see each other, we are talking about that, we still cannot explain what's happened, okay? It was an apparition, he appeared to us, it was his ghost, we don't know. But was it real? I don't know. In 2001, I had a very strange experience, astral journey, but quite deep. I was moving out from England to France for my new business school, and suddenly 3 o'clock in the morning, I was no substance, nothing. I went out of my body, okay, and then in the cosmos, and then I was like feeling the consciousness, the great consciousness, everything. Like I had a vision of 360 degrees, okay, all around, and I was receiving information instantly. Okay, and like I was teaching, like in very speed way, and receiving information that I ignored, like the common thread of humanity, like Egyptians, Sumerians, Atlantis, and so on. I didn't know Atlantis, for instance. The golden number, and so on. The space-time dimension. Like I could see different. An infinite number of different screens, okay, explaining that all lives were lived at the present time, okay, like multiverse, but still present, the past, the present, and the future, and the conditional, the potentials were already existing. Already, when I say everything exists already, and already to exist, it comes from there. Okay, so, and it was just fascinating. Okay, but 24 hours like this, out in the cosmos, in full of love, incarnation of love, and so on. Then I get back to my body, but I was there. But to be frank with you, during 7 days, I was receiving information all the time, and I was not focusing. I could read. I had the feeling to. I had synchronicities all the time. I could read people, like a great book of life, like nature and so on. I was feeling the tree, like the earth beating and so on, the roots and so on. I could say to someone, "Oh, you are. I see a lot of figures. You are in mathematics and so on." And the guy was, for example, studying maths and so on, like this. But talking about really special things like the intimacy of people, I could read them, but also like very new ideas. Like I was downloading, like hearing some voice, like crazy. Yes, my my aunt was Jeanne d'Arc. Is not a joke, by the way. His uncle was our grand uncle. My grandfather are living from this place, Don Rémy la Pucelle, 6 kilometers from there. But anyway, well, just it's our ancestor anyway. But just a joke, the fact that maybe it's the genetics to hear voice. It's a joke, of course. But anyway, so and just to show you, I was coming back from England, so my level in English was okay, and I did TOEFL of TOEIC. You know, it's like assessment to value your English, and usually I had something like it's on over 200. I had something like 180, something like this. So something like, I don't know, 90% or 95%, something like this. And I had the results of 2.5%. Okay, so very bad. Okay. Why? Because I could not listen. There was listening comprehension. You listen a text and then you fulfill and so on. I was not listening at all because I was receiving information and so on. So during 7 days, sorry, I was like this. Okay, it was interesting, fascinating, and in parallel, I had a feeling, and I was scared because I had a feeling to be crazy, literally. And then I remember we just arrived freshly in Dijon, the mustard of Dijon, in the business school, and actually, I said to my girlfriend at this period, we need to go out because I need to change my mind and so on. And we just go. And I said to her before, we're gonna find something. So we walk maybe 1 kilometer, 1.5 kilometers, I don't know. And then suddenly I was talking all the time. Okay, and she was sensitive, receptive, thanks to her, welcoming. And then I said, it's here. And then, okay, there was a library, a big one. It's a bookstore, La Fnac, if you know. And I enter in it, and I go immediately. I didn't know the space. I didn't know the city. So just entering and going like this, walking, in front of the department, esotericism. Esotericism, the word, I ignore it. I was very interested by religions, spirituality, but no esoteric dimension. I didn't know what was this in 2001. So, and I said to my friend, take a book. So she took randomly, maybe they were, I don't know, on the shelf, 200, 300, even more books. She took the first one. I read and I say, okay, this one. We went home, and then I started to read the All Night and so on. And it was exactly the same ideas, one by one, in the same arrangement, the same order than the theories that I was sharing with my friend at this moment. And honestly, was this real or not? I really thought during many years that it was completely an illusion, crazy and so on. The only problem was the fact that there was this book, and this book exists, and my friend can testify about that. So was this real or not? Up to you to decide. In 2007, I had a drama in my life. My grandfather passed away and he killed himself. Okay, due to gossip, stupid gossip of little, countryside villages with narrow-minded, because my grandmother passed away 2 years before, and he had a new girlfriend, and people were talking and so on. And he was 78 years old. He was happy with the new person, but anyway. And then because of the gossip and so on, people were criticizing. He decided to kill himself. My father asked me to write a small message for his funerals. I accepted, but I had no inspiration. The night before, impossible to write anything. I fell asleep, and then we have to wake up maybe 8 o'clock, something like this, to prepare the funerals and so on. And I wake up before, maybe 5 o'clock. But at 5 o'clock, before waking up, it was not really in a dream. It was in between the dream and reality, you know, in between. Because I was on my bed, lay down, and I remember I put my paper from the day before, my paper, my piece of paper, my pen, and so on, and my clothes, and so on. So, and I was in this room, and I saw my grandfather like this, upper me, and then he sit down and just sit down, and there was no discussion really. It was like telepathy or something like this. I don't know how long does it last, but maybe seconds or minutes, I have no idea. But like reassuring me, thinking, and it was like luminous, okay? And I was feeling comfortable. And then suddenly I wake up, and immediately I took the pen, I took the paper, piece of paper, and I wrote, like automatically. There is no change of word and so on. Everything was perfect. Everything was a metaphor regarding tolerance, love, and so on. And because there was layers of conflict with my father, with him, and so on, you know, from the grandfather, his own father, and all this. And it was just, let's say, jumbling, okay, like playing with all this, but with poesy and also delicatesse, and it was incredible. It was not me who wrote it. He wrote his own message. And in the funerals, actually, because it was very dark, very sad, and so on, once I finished to talk, there was like a light, and everybody was, and there was some people start to chanting and so on, and it was finished a few minutes later. And then a lot of people came to me saying, "Oh, it was wonderful. Your grandfather would be very proud," and so on and so forth. Then we went to in the small village. This is a cleaning place for which former cleaning place, of course, for which usually this is celebration place for weddings and so on. But also for funerals, there is like a brioche, and then drink wine and so on. So, and he always said, because he was very optimistic guy and so on, always playing, joking, dancing, drinking, food, life, Epicurean, okay? And he say, I want for my funerals, everybody is happy and drinking good wine. And then suddenly, after this message, after I really had the feeling, because I had a flash, because my father took some wine and so on, his own wine of my grandfather, and also other wines, and everybody was drinking and talking about the grandfather, reminding the jokes of him, and everybody was laughing. And then at a moment I had the feeling like on my shoulder that here we are, we did it. And maybe it was not real, but actually it was my own illusion. You know, sometimes when the fiction exceeds reality. I'm going to tell you something. In 2019, and one of my friends working for government, he sent me a link from the official government, French government, asking for the writers of science fiction to send them the books. Why? Because there was a project, and the project is Red Team, okay? And for which is still available. If you type this on the internet, you will find it. Asking to send them because they wanted to be inspired for future. So scientists, science fiction, like dystopia and so on, taking place in 2030, 40, 50, and or 60, like this. And they wanted to take inspiration from science fiction, which is absolutely crazy. It is real or surrealistic, surreal, up to you to decide. But the fact that the government asks for science fiction books to have inspiration, it's quite weird, right? So now I'm gonna talk to you about a book, Les Contes d'Apothicaire, okay? So this is me, okay? Me as a big boy, and this is me as a, except that my son here is looks like me, like copy paste. But anyway, so just to explain you something regarding the notion of creativity, realistic dimension, and also dream and effect on matter. So this book concretely, there is 7 tales, okay, 7 let's say, yeah, tales, for which, by the way, Les Contes d'Apothicaire in French, this is the name. It means you know, apothecary tales, or they carry counts. Why? Because contes, les contes d'apothicaire, counts and tails is the same sound in French. Okay, so it's not spelling mistake, it's just playing on the word. Because it shows that adults, they count, and this is more quantitative dimension, and kids, this is more qualitative dimension with heart and so on. They think, adults, they think, and with the brain, and kids, they think with their heart. Is more the inner child, let's say, reactivation. But there is 7 tales. One of them, the name is image d'imagination. Okay, what does it mean? It means the images from the magic of the nation, or the image of the nation of magic, and so on. Okay, because magie and magic is the same sound. Okay, so imagination, this is the nation of, well, anyway, just playing on the word, but it's not for that. Okay, so concretely, to make it short, this is a little girl, she fell asleep, she do with a grandfather, because she has problem of breathing. She's coming from the city, she's fragile, she has problem of breathing and walking, and she's doing a nap with her grandfather. Okay, and they have a common dream. Okay, but at the beginning she dream about a snake, and then they roll up like this, and this is different stage, 7 colors, 7 chakra, and this is an inner journey. Okay, for which it's fontaine, and then it's like initiatory journey. Okay, teaching her. Then she arrives at the border, and she is taught through ether. Okay, Easter, sorry, like ether, character, explaining her that this is the word of IDs. The word of IDs is like where we, let's say we pick up the information from the inspiration. Let's say before the initiatory journey was the unconscious part of her, and then she is in the collective unthinking, collective unconsciousness. Okay, the word of IDs, for which everybody is taking and pick up. Then she go further that, and she arrive on the tree. Okay, further than it could be the Akashic record, for which is predefined. Okay, the IDs are there or not. Okay, and you download, that's it. And then further than this, there is the tree of possibilities. The tree of possibilities is you can drop new thing. Okay, this is pure creativity, is beyond the matrix. Okay, to make it straight to the point, for which we can build forest of possibilities and so on. So, and then actually the grandfather in the dream is scared because she disappeared. Okay, Eve. The name of the character is Eve. And then suddenly he take a magic mushrooms, he has to the shaman for be projected and for getting her back. So he does it too strongly, with virulence, and too excessively. And then the result is that Eve, the character, and himself are ejected from it, such a force from the word of IDs and the tree of possibility, creating like a siphon and creating a hole. Okay, breaking the citadel of the first word, the tree of IDs, and then also of the word of IDs. And what does it mean? It means that all the images, the fantasy, the imagination, the characters, and so on, from there, they arrive on Earth. It means that there is a big confusion because nobody can understand anything and can not see if people are holograms or because they are holograms, they are like, if you see here, a cartoon, okay? You know that it's not real, but it's part of you. But the more people believe in the existence of them, the more they give them credit and weight in the density, in the matter, so they become real for us, okay? So then there is a big confusion in between the real and the fictive beings. So the solution is found for the real terrestrial to go to the world of IDs, okay, to lock down the door and to let on this planet, okay, all the illusion, let's say like a new matrix, and so they reverse, okay, and in the world of IDs, so it's changing concretely. But and at this moment, the snakes say, from now, it's up to you to choose your own reality as well as the one you described as such. Okay, so either now you think that the world of ID is your reality and the reality is the new world, so it's reversing. Okay, and in this situation, no one knew exactly where was it. Eve could walk, now walk and run miraculously. Okay, so. And then the snake explained that this is exactly what's happened every night when everybody is waking up with the memories and so on. According to the vibration, they go back to probably a new parallel world with the memories and so on, with the illusion to be them. Okay, matching with what I said to you from Einstein. Everything is energy. Match the frequency of the reality that you want. You cannot stop getting it. This is not philosophy. This is science. Anyway, so, and then when she wake up, okay, concretely, she wake up and because the grandmother called them and they wake up both from the nap, but she can breathe normally and she can walk, and the grandfather doesn't know if he's still in a dream or in the world of ID, or if everything that was a dream or the reality impact, and then they just shift for a parallel world. Invite you to think and to meditate about that. Well, you know, when I create a story, it's like the story unfolds gradually. I have like a flash, a big bang with the pitch, then some appendix, okay, and then the characters reveal themselves, okay, gradually. They give their identity and so on, their personality, the character, the past, physically, how they are and so on, and they come to life. Okay, then interaction take place between the members, and actually sometimes I say to myself, okay, give me more, because I write like automatically, and then I say, give me more, I want to know more, like if I were a writer, co-writer, and also spectator, okay, or the reader as well. So, and the history is written gradually, and it's like I am written, you know, automatically. This is automatically writings, okay? So it's like a simulation. You know, when, for example, in one book I describe a character, Natalie, she's explaining that she lost her girlfriend in the Afghanistan war because she was working for charity. When I do the audio book, I literally cry. Or another different like this, I cry literally, I'm her. Do I know someone with similar situation? Not at all. It's just like if I cry and they live through me, the characters, and I live through them. It's like I give them an existence and a substance of emotions and so on. You're gonna think it's completely crazy. Yes, it's a kind of craziness, but it's like the golem, the mythology of, the legend for Jewish, you know, in Prague, a guy created a kind of a puppet and give life to it for protecting the Jewish community. So it's a legend, of course. And then it becomes like a Frankenstein or Pinocchio. Okay, so, but the divine creation could be like this. The fact to create, and the thing that we have interaction change the scenarios, okay? You know, I'm gonna tell you, when I was young, when I was 5-6 years old, I remember my parents, they were welcoming some friends for the dinner, so we have no access to the YOUnique TV set. So we create a TV, okay? So taking a piece of paper like this with scotch, okay? And not drinking, so sticking them, and like 10 meters, and we were drawing like a story. Then putting in a box, a carton box, we did it alone, and then, you know, like you do with rotation, okay? So you have a face, a draw, another one, and so on. It's turning like this. So, and it was so exciting because we draw the story, but we were exciting to do it in real on night. You know, it's like when you play alone to chess and to play tennis and so on. It's not that funny. The interaction with people, the fact, for example, when you have a debate, if everybody is dull, nobody has opinion and so on, is dull. The interaction with people, oh no, I don't think that because I saw it in this angle of, this is very enriching. Okay, that's why we need also people, and also for creativity. But anyway, just an aside. But what is funny concretely is in this book, I show you this one, actually, first I wrote for my nephews, and then for the whole inner child, let's say, for humanity. Okay, so it's just the capacity to reactivate. It's 7 tales, very, very initiatory, very philosophic, because there is layers of perception. And concretely, I wrote in parallel of that a second book explaining the different symbols. Okay, so and actually there is draws for each tale. And I met someone at this period, okay, a kind of elf, like came from nowhere, beautiful, smart, and so on. And because I cannot draw personally, so I explained that I needed, and so on, someone to draw. And because I wanted, it was very deep and also childish way of drawing. And she did. And of course, we spent time and so on. And then we fell in love. Okay, and this elf is Elif, my wife. But anyway, just to tell you that the main character at the end, the 7th tale, and you're gonna understand the link, actually is a writer, and for which all his writing is becoming real. Okay, so, and is the writer of the 6 other tales. So other characters appear to him like holograms, appear to him, he think he's crazy, and he saw all of them teaching back what he say to, what he has been teach, okay? Like Aladdin, okay, one of the main characters is God, saying to him, I didn't creating you, for you don't believe in your characters and the message they convey, because he created his own characters with certain messages, philosophy. He has also to apply it for him, okay, to put it into practice, of course. So all of them, they appear to him, re-explaining what they convey, but also the fruit of creation. And actually, he explained that there was. He is in front of a blank page. Okay, he has no inspiration actually, and he explained him that in the past he wrote a book, okay, entitled Anterior Past, for which he was a character for which all he was writing was making true. Okay. Unfortunately, he has no inspiration anymore, this character, and he laid down, I mean, he quit. Okay, but this character, okay, like simulation, like a Russian doll, if you follow, took back his destiny, and he wrote a scenario that the guy is living in my book. So it's like if he took back the destiny of the writer as he quit. So concretely, it's like, you know, like Russian dolls. But anyway, so, and actually at the end, of course, I explained that it's a kind of declaration, because I say, yes, I would like that this it creates it's reactivate the inner child of humanity, to re-understand that, to read and to co-create and to co-write the great book of life. And actually I say also there is another subtle message referring to the notion of giving birth, because dessin et dessin in France, it's the same sound, is drawing and destiny. But and I say, yeah, then I hope to give birth, and referring to the person who made this this drawing, for which the destiny will be common, but that it is another story. Our story, I hope so. So it's like declaration. I don't know her that much, but declaration, and I wrote this in the book and so on. And then 9 months later, we were together, and this is my wife now. But what is funny is I just wrote the book, okay, like this. 5 years later, okay, I just I said to myself, why don't I do a audiobook? Okay, so I did audiobook, I record and so on, I put online, and then the day I put online, I went to 3 days retreat, silent 3D retreat in the middle of nowhere, no technology and so on. I was in nature, in in the terrace, you know, in Bali, and no connection and so on. So, and I came back to 3 days later after having put online the audiobook 5 years later, and my wife said to me, I have a good news, I'm pregnant. Okay, so, and then what is funny is that when my little prince arrived on Earth for 1st of August 2021, actually I wrote a book. The name is Papa Pourquoi Pas. It means Daddy Why Not. Okay, so it's all the question innocent kid could ask to a father, like why the sky is blue and so on. But every time I was talking, because before he was born, I explained this concept for almost 5 years, and one of them on interviews and so on, and explaining and taking always the same example. Why are we talking about undocumented people or people without paper? Okay, visa or passport and so on. It's only this example every time I was talking about that for years and years. And at last, our son, for more than 1 year, for stupid reason, administrative one, he had no paper, no identity, so he was not recognized as living during more than 1 year in Turkey. And we have been obliged and blocked for more than 2 years. Even now, after 2 years, he still doesn't have the French nationality, despite I have French nationality, my wife has French nationality, and so on. And we still have 1 year more. Okay, stupidity of system. So we have been blocked during such a long time. But, and then I've been kicked out of the country, by the way. I went to France, then I came back, and actually they refused because of notion of visa and so on. So I've been put in the retention center in bad condition, with violence, with humiliation and so on, 3 days. And I was starting a new book, The Dictatorship of Goodwill, okay? Of goodness, sorry. And it's about a dystopia in the future and so on, which is like a system, Frankenstein and so on, all is intelligence artificial, managing everything and so on. And actually I live exactly what I was writing as well. Because then I've been kicked out of the country 4 months. I could not see the baby because the baby could not leave the land. My wife could, but she was giving milk, breastfeeding, sorry. And then in the book, this book, actually, that's honestly, I was really in bad situation. At the end is luminous, this book, and there is a guy, okay, has created a company, New World, for which is with business, he can reinject in charity and so on. So 1 week later, I finished the book, okay, New World, and a girl contacted me, Sophie. She contacted me and she said, I need to talk to you and so on. I have a project because I'm with a partner and so on. And both, okay, 1 week after, because she watched me on an interview on YouTube from another channel, and she proposed to me to be part of a program and a project of an association, and the name was New World. How did I know? I don't know. Inspiration. So that's what I try to show you, in the sense that sometimes reality has an impact. For example, in June 2022, we had a miscarriage, okay, with Asia, the name we gave to the fetus, I mean the baby was supposed to. And then I was seeing the morning, okay, the heart beating for the first time of my life, and on night it disappeared. So I took it, I buried in the tree, in the garden and so on. And I remember because I was sitting and I was thinking like crazy, stupid, like take it back inside yourself, like a kid would think like this. And I was hearing like the voice of God. I am the living, I manage life. Okay, and then we thought that it probably was better and so on. So Asia, okay. And then he gave me, okay, with the heart beating. By this moment, I had like, and then I have the vision of Sage Passage Utopia. I was writing the concept for 15 years. Impossible to have a structure. This moment, during this night, thanks to this big flower of life and so on, like the framework, the structure of the whole entire book. And the day after, I was writing like this and finishing extremely rapidly, like inspiration through this experience, about a very let's say, beautiful story. Sage by Sage is depicting Sage by Sage Utopia. You can download for free on my website. So, and then actually, so it's very positive about life, future, and so on. But Asia, it was a dramatic situation. 6 months later, I was finishing a book of 24 hours in audio. It's not translated in English, but it's about death, okay? But the hereafter, let's say. And the morning I finished the book, okay, it's finished, I saw the echography of Atlas, my little prince. So it was like bouncing and jumping and replying each other. But the worst or the best, I didn't know, because I didn't choose Asia, the name. I like it, but I didn't know, and didn't choose is my wife, and Atlas as well. And we discover later that in the Greek mythology, Asia sacrificed for giving birth to Atlas. Believe it or not, it is real or not. I mean, this is our reality. Then, you know, in another way, actually, Sage Passage, Utopia, I translated, and I needed edition because it's really dedicated. There is language of bird, green language, because there is also synthesis of synthesis, for which I spent with my best friend in Bali. She was American, Ali Gardner, okay, and she was coming from San Francisco. I was the first person she met when she arrived in 2017. We were spending so much time, and for editing this synthesis of synthesis, so okay, the different 100 quotes, for which they are also included in Utopia, in Sage by Sage. We spend like 4 hours a week, 5 hours every Saturday morning, for 9 months almost. So it was deep because I needed to explain and so on. And she read Sage by Sage, Utopia, and for her it was the most beautiful book she never read, and she was always asking me, when do we go there? When? Because it's about 5D. And describing the civilization, the orchestration, the organization, and so on. And in the book is written that you will have to create a community, a school, platform of good ideas, and so on, like 5 different projects, for which I say, this is also part of the game. We have, I'm supposed also to build the school. I'm already designed the program. I teach it in the orphanage of Bali, and so on. And the community, we were also discussing about doing a community in Bali, and so on. And she even created a Facebook page, 5D Utopia, yes, I think it's that. And because she was doing the promotion, she said, this is so beautiful, I want to accelerate the process, I want to be there and to activate there. Because I say, we need to be in a project, in reality, not necessarily being in the dreams and so on. And in the book, actually, the character at the end, because this is the higher self of himself, is the discussion with, he say, I'm you in the future, is Walter meeting Alter. Alter means the other one in Latin. Okay, so at the end, this is a disclosure, he say, I am you in your future. Okay, so I bring you some information from your future for you to set up here in the matter now. But he say, I would like you to do a favor to me, because my wife, if you do it well, is your girlfriend now. She's hypersensitive, and she gonna suicide due to she will reduce energy and so on, and she will suicide. Unfortunately, Ali Gardner, actually, my best friend, she was hypersensitive as well. She was always overwhelmed with the news and so on, election, COVID, war, and so on so far. And she decided to suicide as well, exactly as in the book. I'm not saying that she did because I wrote it, of course not, but just also to make sure that this is supposed to be luminous, and it is supposed, and I dreamt about her when I heard that bad news, and she appeared to me explaining that she wanted to go directly there. Is this real or not? I don't know, but of course, and I still think about this very often, of course. Well, I try, of course, in my different books also to do parallels with a character with as a link of family and so on, to show like multiverse through the different composition of my books, and also the fact that one guy knows someone who knows someone and so on. This is, you know, the principle that we all know someone on the planet with 7 connection maximum. I know this guy who's the cousin knows this guy 7 maximum in the middle of nowhere in Amazonia, in Asia, and so on. Okay, so this is also for this, but you know, all this is to share, is like Don Juan de Marco, the great movie with Marlon Brando and Johnny Depp. Actually, it's like a guy, his dreams and so on, is try also to share his reality, his own dreams, and it's kind of contagious because Marlon Brando, the psychiatre, actually is under the charm, and he reactivate the romantic dimension, and he reseduce his own wife, for which he was in couple for many years, but let's say they lost each other and so on. So what I try to share with you now, because I try to put my heart, my emotions, is also for you to reactivate this capacity to read and to co-read and to co-create, to write the great book of life, to inject more colors in this black and white life sometimes. Yeah, this is up and down, it's part of the life, because up and down, okay, for everybody is like the heart beating. When you see the heart beating, if it's like this, it's death. If you were always stable, even in happiness or in the darkness, but in the happiness, you wouldn't be alive. So it's a part of the game we are here to experience, but life is already down to earth, and the 5D is already there. We can vibrate it here, we can do project, and sometimes we are down. It's part of the game. Today the weather is wonderful, tomorrow it's gonna rain maybe, but beyond the clouds and the darkness, the blue sky and the sun is already there. The light is already there. I invite you to meditate to that, and to keep on mind the fact that you are co-creator and the designer and the scenarist of your own life. Well, I hope it will help you to shape the master key of your reality, of your consciousness, of whatever you want. As you know, all the roads lead to Rome and to the Dome and to home. Thank you for your attention, and see you very soon.